Welcome to the Lake City Podcast. Today I have David Rossiter, Program Coordinator with LakeCity Works in Dartmouth. How are you doing today, David?
Great. Yourself?
I'm doing great, thanks. So thank you very much. You're the first official guest for the Lake City Podcast. So we'll just get started with a little bit of background information. So what can you tell us about your role here at Lake City and what brought you to work at Lake City?
Yeah, so you mentioned the title, Program Coordinator, and basically what that means is myself, along with the rest of our team of program coordinators, we're responsible for all the on-site clientele here at LakeCity Works, all of our on-site participants, volunteers, and supported employees. And in a bit, we're going to get into the difference between on-site and off-site. But as to what drew me to Lake City, I was job hunting. When I saw an opportunity at Lake City, initially the mental health aspect of it jumped out to me. I had some relevant experience volunteering and working in the sector, so I looked a bit closer. But then when I looked into Lake City and I saw like all the different stuff we're doing, I thought like, wow, they're like, I could get my hands into lots of different pots. Like, it's early in my career and they seem to have so much going on. It seems to be such a dynamic spot. Right. That if I feel like this could be a good opportunity to just go somewhere and be a part of lots of cool things.
Well, I mean, that's great. I mean, obviously, you know, I work here at Lake City. I'm the Director of Programming and Partnerships, as you know. And, you know, I remember when you came in for your job interview, and that's the kind of thing we are looking for when we're looking for staff, is somebody who isn't just looking for a job, but is looking for something that they can make a difference, use their skills they've accrued to this point in their life, but also like make a difference in the community and make a difference sort of in a grassroots kind of way. So, since you've been here for a couple of years, describe what Lake City does and how you support people living with mental health barriers.
Sure. So, like I mentioned, we have people who come on site, and I sort of break that down into like 3 levels of on-site participation. Okay. We have supported employment, which would be a paid, like a waged job opportunity in one of our many departments, whether it's in the wood shop, whether it's as part of our helpers property management team, the production of survey stakes, the list goes on. Okay. And we have volunteer opportunities as well. Reboot, our sort of computer recycling. Sure. Depot offers some volunteer hours. The Woofington's doggy daycare as well. And then for people who are just sort of looking for like some social sort of interaction and maybe not necessarily work experience, sure, we have these recreation clubs that we run, you know, soup club, okay, movie club, arts and crafts, and a few others for sure. So that's sort of how I explain to people what people do when they come here. I Sure. say it's not really the same for everyone, but I break it down into those 3 tiers usually.
Now, so if somebody comes to Lake City and they're part of the arts, say the art club, is that the only thing they can do there, or are they allowed to try out other things while they're at Lake City?
Yeah, they definitely can. I think that's a great avenue for it because sometimes somebody who faces barriers to employment through mental health, they get connected with Lake City somehow, they get referred here, and really all they're sort of looking for at that time is to get out of the house, get some social interaction, get some routine in their lives, and they come here and they do that, and it does wonders for their confidence. It's fun, and at the same time they're seeing what's going on in Lake City, and this happens many times where they're like, what's that? Like, that looks like fun. This person I met does this. Can I do that? And we totally try to accommodate that. And I can think of many examples where we have. Yeah.
What I like about that, too, is that one of the most important things especially when you're dealing with people who are living with mental health barriers is just like anybody else, we're more than one thing. We're a complete complex individual, and we have many different facets. So that holistic concept of being able to do the sort of the creative side of things, do the work side of things, then the volunteer side where you're giving back all the different parts of who we are. So I really, really like that. So one of the things that Lake City is known for, especially over the last couple of years, is the concept of supported employment. So what does supported employment look like on a day-to-day basis for the participants, say, for example, of survey stakes?
Yeah. So I broke down how there's all those different departments. The survey stake production is one that I really spent most of my time sort of overseeing and supervising. And for those who don't know, survey stakes are those little wooden stakes that you drive into the heart of a vampire, or if you're a construction company, a land surveyor, concrete former, you use them for your work.
Okay.
And we produce tons of those. So the supported employees in the stake shop, there's usually 4 to 6 on any given day. They don't work every day necessarily, but they have a few shifts a week. It's sort of tailored to their liking. They're in there. They're working on the saws. They're working together. It's really like a sort of assembly line production type of job. And then the supported part of supported employment is me and the rest of our employment and programming services team are constantly sort of making sure that these employees feel supported. As we've talked about before, there's barriers to employment that come with living with mental illness, so we sort of keep our finger on the pulse, and if anybody is sort of experiencing anything that might become a barrier to their continued success here at Lake City, we sort of proactively try and support them.
Right, so a lot of check-ins,
a
lot of touching base with people, seeing where they are on that day or that part of the day. That's important.
Yeah, that's where that supportive
part
comes
That's great, thank you. So thinking about maybe people who move on from Lake City, they come here, they do one of the supported employment roles, say in survey stakes. They identify an interest in some other type of work, and they want to work into mainstream employment in the community. What would you say some of the barriers they would face when entering the workforce, and maybe what are some of the things that we can prepare them for to overcome those barriers?
I think a huge one is communication style. As a supported employee, us program coordinators, we sort of are putting that little bit of extra effort in to really making sure that our employees or our supported employees are understanding and hearing and feeling okay with everything that we're communicating to them regarding expectations and things like that. And when you enter maybe a more traditional workforce, community employment, I think unfortunately sometimes that extra level of communication isn't there. I think it's just easier sometimes for managers or for people in the workplace to not take that little bit of extra effort to making sure that everyone's okay and understanding.
So, and probably one of the important things would be imparting good self-advocacy skills for our participants. So when they're on the job, if there is something that they're uncomfortable with, how to have that conversation with their supervisor or their boss or whatever. And
the people I've found that are the best at explaining that and talking about those things are really our team of employment navigators here, who are also the folks that will sort of help any Lake City participants or community clients sort of advocate for themselves during the job hunt. So those folks are really good at that.
Yeah, I mean, there are some of the important things, that they would have to, our employment navigators would have to consider is when they're working with whether it's an internal participant or a community client, would be, things around disclosure of your disability, when you would do it, how you would do it, like what things, one of the things that I've often heard in when we're talking about disclosure is come with solutions instead of just the problems. So if somebody has a barrier and they're trying to overcome it and they are asking maybe for some accommodation for that barrier, is to come with some solutions or some strategies for dealing with that. So no, that's great. So Lake City has also been long known for being a forerunner in the social enterprise world, using social enterprise as a tool for supported employment and employment skills development. How do you see that on a day-to-day basis with Lake City and our various social enterprises that we have?
Yeah, the social enterprise model is great. There's tons of reasons. I think that people really want to support social enterprises, and then by us ensuring that we do really good work on those ones, like the woodworkers, the property maintenance with helpers, that's super important, because the better that these social enterprises do, the more opportunities we're able to offer. Not just the better we do, the more jobs we can offer, but it allows us to sort of look into more diverse types of social enterprises,
Sure.
of opportunities, and that's like the most valuable thing I think for our clientele is being able to not just like find job opportunities, but find job opportunities that are meaningful and suited to them. The more diverse our offerings are, the more diverse we'll be, and all that's possible due to social enterprise.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. If you just have 9 different versions of the same job, that's not a lot of diversity. But, you mentioned the survey stakes, and the other program that Lake City is very well known for is the Lake City Helpers program, which property maintenance primarily for seniors and people with mobility barriers. That's very different than working in a steak shop, cutting wood and, doing that type of thing. So thinking about the Lake City Helpers, can you give me an idea of the meaningful impact that something like Lake City Helpers has had in the community of Dartmouth and Halifax?
Yeah, I mean, talk about like a symbiotic relationship. It's just great. I think that really like defines social enterprise. It's giving jobs to people living with mental illness, but at the same time, this program is doing such good for the community. It's really a win-win. The Helpers program, as you mentioned, does a lot of property maintenance for seniors, and it's from this idea of helping seniors age in place, which I find to be a very important sort of subject. I think it's super related to dignity, and as someone with a background in long-term care, I've seen how important that is. So for our guys to be able to go out, and I've gone out with them many times, and I see firsthand when we're able to offer top quality, professional quality property maintenance and lawn care services to seniors in the Dartmouth community and the broader HRM, and I see those seniors, and we're able to offer it at such an affordable price. I see them, the gratefulness that they give to our guys and to us, and that I think is super emblematic of what Helpers is all about.
Yeah, that term "aging in place" is such an important thing, especially with the studies on how success rates with people remaining in their home rather than being institutionalized or moving into a long-term care facility. Not to disparage those facilities, because they're very important. They serve an important role. But the longer somebody can remain in their home and feel safe in their home, they're going to have better health outcomes. Like you say, we hear that all the time from our senior customers who call us on the phone. They send us messages just saying how important it is. And one of the ones I'm quite aware of is there's a gentleman whose mother lives here. He's a retired military personnel who lives away from Halifax and Dartmouth, and he takes care of the lawn maintenance for his mother through us. He pays us on a regular basis, and what he likes about that is because we're there once a week, we're checking in on his mom, and we can let them know it doesn't look like the mail's been picked up, or the paper's still on the front step, or it looks like the front step is broken and might need to be repaired. None of these things have happened, thank goodness, but he feels really secure to know that we're there on a regular basis, as that sort of one more level of security for him. A gentleman who loves his mother, cares for his mother, doesn't live where she lives, but still wants to make sure to maintain her safety. So that's an important piece doing that. So thinking about the period of time that you've been at Lake City, can you think of one or two, if you don't have one, if you can't focus on just one success story that stands out to you, how somebody's life was changed by supported employment here at Lake City?
Yeah, sure. I think this one, you and I are definitely have both thought of this guy, and it's super cool. When he came here to Lake City looking for a job, a big thing was when we were talking to him when he was coming in, he had this air where I don't think he believed us that we were going to give him a chance, give him a job, and did great work with us. I mean, I'm going to keep anonymity here, but I think it's okay to say that he worked in various departments, whether it was stakes, helpers, and just super hard worker. Made great strides during his time here from working at Lake City, but he was really putting in the work outside of Lake City as well on personal development. And we've seen recently how that's taken him to a permanent full-time job at a great company. Again, not going to talk about too much detail, but I think it's just been an absolute transformation from how long has it been? Maybe since we first started,
Yeah, no, that's important, because people do come to us often at their lowest ebb, because we work with people who are living with mental illness, who are looking for employment or employment skills development, and often they've tried other routes. They've either tried maybe through other job search programs that don't necessarily focus specifically on mental health and the sort of the barriers that living with mental health might cause when somebody's looking for a job. So they come to us sometimes quite low, and providing people with those opportunities and slowly but surely building those skills up and building the confidence to then move out. We love people to stay here at Lake City, and we do have some long-standing supported employees.
Some lifers.
But it's also amazing to see people that take what they've learned here and the confidence, the skills, and move out to employment in the community, because it's multifold. They're ready for that job. They're ready for that next step, and they're a great advocate for what we do here, and they make what we do here quite obviously is working. So no, thank you. That's a great example.
And what I think's amazing, I didn't know I'd feel like this before I started, but us at EPS, obviously we view that as a huge win. But the way that we measure success in our work has been eye-opening for me, because I find that we celebrate that as a win. Obviously, it's like the traditional definition of a win, but just as important to us is somebody who's doing something maybe on a smaller scale, but it just doesn't seem smaller to us. Like somebody who comes here maybe once a week, does a 3-hour shift or something, and just if they have a day where they are speaking to people around them more, smiling more, like that, just the way that we, without even like making a point of doing it, like we all just sort of naturally celebrate that just as much. It's super cool.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing, it's a spectrum, right? Success is a spectrum, like most things are spectrums. And I know there is a gentleman who is in our Fire Starters program.
Yeah.
So Fire Starters is a program where we recycle wood chips from our wood shop, use paraffin wax, and we make very environmentally friendly fire starters that people can use in their chimeneas in their backyard, their fire pits when they go camping. They stay lit for a long time. You don't need a lot. It diverts thousands of pounds of wood waste from going into the waste stream, but it also provides supported employment. So there's one gentleman who was when you were speaking about people coming just for programming, and then see something they're interested in. This gentleman was in for art club. He noticed it was housed in the same room they do the fire starters. He started asking questions about the fire starter, said he wanted to try that, gave him an assessment, and now for the last year or more, he comes in every second Wednesday does a shift in the afternoon every second Wednesday working with fire starters, doing quality control and packaging, and you have never met a person that's more proud of what they do in their job and what they've accomplished. And this gentleman, this is the first paid employment this gentleman has ever had, and he is, I would say, probably in his late 50s, early 60s.
That's incredible. Like, it's a life, like, think of like what a life milestone it is to, like, when you have your, you know, your first job, that sort of sense of like contributing and meaningfulness, and without fire starters just being there, and being one of the things we offer. If we offered less things, maybe that would have never happened.
And that's the thing with fire starters. Maybe, you know, in the wood shop, or in the steak shop where they do the survey steaks, you know, it's cold in the winter, it's hot in the summer. There's, you know, lifting heavy weight.
Dirty as anything.
It's dirty. It's not for everybody.
Loud.
Whereas with fire starters, there's once again, the term spectrum. There's a full spectrum of skills where, you know, we have supported employees that actually mix up the batter that makes the fire starters. That's in, you know, they're responsible for that. Straight through to people that do the quality control and the packaging, the labeling, the shrink wrapping, the, you know, putting them into the boxes and getting them ready to be shipped out. Somewhere along the line, there's some skill there's some task that everybody can do, whether they have, they might have limited fine motor control, they might not be able to stand for long periods of time, and they need a role where they're seated. Fire starters gives them that opportunity, and then they also know that they're creating something where it has that real social enterprise outcome of the triple bottom line, where it's making profit for the organization. People are being impacted, on a day-to-day basis, having the supported employment, and also it's good for the environment because we're diverting waste from going into the waste stream, and that full circle concept, that's really important. So yeah, fire starters is a great example of that. So I guess the last question I'd ask you would be, what's one thing you wish people understood about mental health and how it pertains to employment?
That it's not like a one size fit all kind of thing. It's so hard to generalize it that it's pointless to. And it's like, it's easy to try to. It's easy to be like, okay, how are we gonna help people with mental health better access employment? How are we gonna help people with mental health get jobs? And there's no like one answer. What employment is enriching and safe and healthy for one person is going to be maybe too much too soon for another. So I think really meeting people where they're at is what Lake City does well at building confidence.
Sure.
We don't when I get, someone new here, I don't ask them to do something that I know they're, is not sort of in alignment with their mental health strengths and
Sure.
barriers. And because in doing so, it just sets someone up to fail. And I think that just putting sort of everyone in one group and having one set of expectations for said group is something that as a society we do sometimes do and can lead to setting people up for failure. Yeah,
I mean, the whole concept of one size fits all, it basically means it fits everybody badly.
Yeah.
So, if you think of a one size fits all jacket, it doesn't fit anybody.
It's just not quite right.
It's not quite right. And so, one of the things we try to do at Lake City is employ the person-centered approach, which, again, like it's right in the name, person-centered. The individual is in the center of their experience here. So asking them what they want, asking what they're looking for, talking to them about what their past has been like, what things have been successful for them, things that maybe they've not been successful in. You can't prevent people from failing, because failing is a part of life. But if we can mitigate that by just understanding people more, like you say, don't put people in a position where they're not going to succeed. But that's the thing. I agree with you on that if we were a little bit more open-minded and person-centered, at work outside of a nonprofit like Lake City, I think we'd be more successful, whether that's a retail store, whether that's in the service industry, and whether that's in like technology or in the trades. Just understanding that no two people are alike just because you have two people that are, say, plumbers. Plumbers are just as different as anybody else. So just because two people are plumbers and they went to the same school and they work for the same company, those individuals are going to be different.
They're going to have different learning styles, different reactions
Exactly.
to different management styles.
Different backgrounds. People come to us at Lake City or in the workforce. They come with everything that's already happened to them, and that's really important. So with Lake City, if you thought if somebody was interested in Lake City, either they wanted to recommend it to a friend or family member, or if they wanted to volunteer or try to help out Lake City, what would you say would be the best way for them to get started?
I got a lot of best ways for you. So right now we have a couple job opportunities. I don't know when this podcast comes out, but I mean, it's a great place to work if you're ever interested. On the website, there should be a tab with job opportunities. A great way to support Lake City, coming on in, seeing what we do with your own eyes, and you'll see our beautiful showroom full of wood furniture. That's one of my favorite spots to hang out. I have lots of pieces from it. My parents have bought lots of pieces from it. I like that aspect of the social enterprise a lot, getting just a gorgeous piece of wood furniture. Find us on social media. The more people that hear about Lake City and about other similar organizations, as the more people that are educated about mental health and its relation to employment, and that's just nothing but a good thing.
Yeah, and you're right. And there's lots of organizations doing great work out there. So, do a look, a search around. Go on Google and just Google, nonprofits in Dartmouth, nonprofits in Halifax, employment support in Dartmouth or Halifax. So for us, it's LakeCityWorks.ca or at LakeCity Works on social media.
Facebook and Instagram.
Facebook and Instagram and all that. So David, I really want to thank you very much for coming in today and talking with me. And I hope you had the opportunity to share your experiences with us.
Yeah. Thanks for the opportunity. It was my pleasure.
Okay, perfect. So that's the first edition of the Lake City podcast. So thank you very much. Join us back here again. We'll have lots more exciting guests talking about exciting topics. So stay in touch and take care.